Welcome to Intermediate Blending, a follow-up series to Beginning to Blend. I'm JoRaSe, your host for this series, just like the last. Now, let's delve in and begin. So this time we're going to be working with the vase and getting it textured. So here you can see we've got the vases we made in the Beginning to Blend series, and we got one that's a little bit more detailed. I put a little bit down here, and then we've got the old one here. So what we're going to do is work on this one first. So we'll just move this to layer 2. And focus on this one. What we're wanting to do is select the edge rings and loops that make up the desired portions. So we're dealing with that portion. And right up here we want these. So that's going to be pretty much it. Let's go ahead and mark those. Go over to shading UVs on the left. And we want to mark them as seams. Now the other thing we need to do is at least get one right down the middle, or right down a edge, say it that way. So we'll mark that, and it wouldn't hurt if we did the other side as well, so we'll do that as well. And there we go. We can now select the entire thing. Get the view split. One for 3D, one for our UV image editor. And we want to unwrap it. And it'll give this. And all we're wanting to do is grab it all and pull it down so we can then go in and work on stuff. And what we're going to do now is go to Face Select Mode and just separate these face groups out. And with these, we want to flip them. So we're going to mirror it on the Y, and then move it up on the Y to where we can get these two lined up exactly, like so. Now if we go back into Vertice Select Mode, we want to get all the vertices on the bottom here. And we're going to flatten them out on the Y. So we use the scale command, lock it to the Y axis, then the 0 key. Do the same with the next layer up. Scale, lock it to the Y axis, 0. Same with the last one. Scale, lock it to the Y, 0. And now we're going to correct something I thought I had working before. So now we're going to the S key, and we're going to do it on the x-axis. So we're going to lock it to the x-axis and 0. Just do this all the way across. S, X, 0. S, X, 0. The S key, the X key, 0 key. One more time. Again. And the last time. Grab the entire thing, slide it up into our UV map grid, get it up at the top, pin it with the P key. Next up, we're going to grab these, and we don't have to worry about like we did on the other, because this just goes down to a small dot. Single bit of color. And these we don't worry about either, they just get kind of organized a bit, or scaled down I should say, and pin. So there's what we're working with. We can grab this and pull it down and in a bit more. So let's go ahead and export this UV layout. And we want it going into the texture file for the Vase model. And this is going to be Vase LOD texture A. Make sure it's all UVs and export the layout. Now let's load up our Inkscape. And we're going to load up our 2 texture files we have. First one is in the resource files. Now if you're using Inkscape, you'll be able to open up this SVG file. If you're not, you can make use of the standard PNG file. But since we're using SVG, since we're using Inkscape, we'll open up the SVG file. And then let's also open up our level A. Texture map file. Now the benefit of working with an SVG over just the regular PNG is that we can select an entire element like so, and let's go ahead and group it. Now we can copy this right off of this document, come over to this one and paste it in. Move it into position and scale the entire thing up so that it covers what we're trying to cover. And we want it pretty much exactly on that edge. Both sides. And then we can just move it up a little bit. Pull it, scale it down a little bit here. And that we'll do it. So now we've got the hard part out of the way. Next up is the gold section. So we're going to copy that orange bit, paste this in. This goes down right over here. And that does look a bit bright for orange, or a bit orange for gold. So we can adjust the color on the green to be a bit more yellow. And that looks more right to me. 153, so let's change it here as well. Get the entire thing colored properly. And last up is the red for the body of the vase. Paste that red in and get it scaled properly to where it covers everything. And if you've noticed the color that I use on the 3D printed model, you'll know this is a brighter red. We can adjust that down here on the red fill bar down to the color that it should be, which is 140. Go into fill and change it here as well. And there we go. We can now save this. Oh, first we need to change the opacity on this back up to 100. There we go. Now save it and go back into Blender. Going to go to Image on the UV editor, open Image, and we're going to go up to the correct folder and load that bitmap, or load the texture map. Now over in the 3D window, we can make it bigger. From edit mode, we want to go to object just to see it without all the vertices and edges marked out, and go to textured. And here's what we have. A little bit of problem here. And if we go back into the program, right there. So we can just correct that and save it. You go back into Blender and we want to reload, and that took care of it. So there we have a painted vase. You can grab this light and adjust it around to see the other side if we want to. That looks pretty good to me. That's all for this session of Polygonal Art with JoRaSe. If you enjoyed what you saw, how about giving this video a thumbs up? And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss out on future videos from me. In the video description below, you'll find my Patreon link. Feel free to check it out. Now, on to the credits.